name is Glen Glasper, affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime, and I have the pleasure and the honor and the privilege to be able to sit here with two guys that I consider mentors. I consider guys that I can call on when I have questions, and they'll call me and get me in line when I need to be put in line, because we all need that leveler in our life. So I have Mr. Will Galloway and Mr. Tim Harvey of Wholesalers Are Us. And if you don't know about Wholesalers Are Us, check it out on Facebook. It's, we got 2,000-3,000 people in the group now? Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think we've got about $3 grand.
Yeah.
Almost 4,000 people in the group.
Yeah. And that's huge.
We're grateful for that.
So guys, we'll get right into it. Well, basically, we're just going to talk about wholesaling. I mean, we'll get into different types of real estate investing, but what I want to do is give people an opportunity to chime in, to ask questions about how to get started, how to sustain, how to maintain.
Right.
I know you've been in the business a lot of years. You've both been in the business a lot of years. And what is it like getting in the business? Let's talk about that first of all. Getting in the business. What are some of the first steps as a newbie investor? Like, I'm green. I'm just want to tell somebody I want to get started in real estate investing. What's some of the first steps that I take?
I mean, first step is scary. I mean,
it gets no more real than that.
But quite honestly, getting into the business, I think you almost have to be desperate from somewhere else. There's something else that you want. Am I looking in the right camera? I just want to make sure. Okay,
yeah,
right here.
We're loud here.
Yeah, I think, Glen, and back to you. Just we're grateful to you for for what it is that you do in this business, the contributions that you make in this business. I mean, they're immeasurable. You're a real man of God. You're a real businessman. We do know that you are Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime.
Out of a dime.
From a lot of from a lot of examples in doing business, but we are grateful for your contribution to this business, and it would be not right of us to not say how grateful we are to have you as a friend and a partner. In this business it can be lonely. But the good thing about it is, if I had this business, if I was doing this business earlier, and I had the support that I have now, then perhaps it would not have been as scary as it was before. So the fact that
I thought you was gonna try to make me cry. Don't do me like that.
So
I appreciate.
Yeah, when we got started, when we got started before, we didn't quite have the support that we have now.
This is true. Yeah.
So what we did then was not quite as number one, the business was closed. To a lot of people, nobody quite knew, what it was. But now you've got so much information out there that to fail is simply not to take action.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we say it over and over again, in our meetups that you've got to take action, and if you take action, things happen. So that's that's what it was. But starting out for us, starting out for me was scary. I mean, I was coming off of a job, that I hated. So that was a scary thing. But, I tried to outweigh, what would happen if I succeed and what happens if I don't succeed.
Right.
Right. And that outweighed, partner.
We're talking about as far as starting out.
Yeah. Like, what are some of the steps that somebody would take as a newbie getting started?
What are some of the steps? You seem like you got something else to chime in on.
Well, I mean, just like you said, the steps that a newbie would take is of course, for me, if I was just getting started in 2017, we're in the second, third quarter, right?
Right.
If I was just getting started in 2017, I would link up with somebody. First off, I would take action. I would go find some deals. I would go in my backyard. I'd go looking for deals, and then I would link up with some experts that know what they're doing. Nowadays, you can do that and pretty much trust what it is that you're doing. So that's what I would do in 2017, even if I knew hardly anything about real estate.
What do you think about the YouTube effect a real estate investor. What tell me some of the things you think about getting started. I want to find out. Like a lot of people I talk to, they say they learn a lot of stuff on YouTube, and that's where they get most of their information. But what are some of the steps that you would say about getting started with real estate investing or wholesaling?
As far as newbies?
Yes.
I mean, basically what Tim said, I think that was right on point. I think, you know, you have to go find somebody who's doing what you want to do on a higher level,
right.
And you got to go absorb that energy and absorb that information from that person because, don't get me wrong. I mean, when I first started, I didn't have a mentor right off.
Yes.
I just hit the ground running, and I just took massive action. But it did start with YouTube. I mean, I think that was my first education because at the time, when I first started, I had came to a point where I really didn't have no money. I had just came off from a business that failed. All of my savings was pretty much almost gone. So I didn't really have the money at the time. There was some products and stuff that you could have bought at the time, but I didn't really have the funds at the time to purchase. So I did go to YouTube and, you know, start researching YouTube and free ebooks here and there that I was researching online. But the concept of wholesaling, it is what it is. I mean, there's so many moving pieces, but it's still black and white. It's still simple when you think about it from the A to B to C steps. So once I got the concept, I just basically just took massive action. I think that's the main thing. People, they all, even newbies, they kind of got the concept of knowing what to do, but they don't have the faith to step out and just go ahead and take action to do it. And then they get in this stuck. Oh, I got to educate myself more. Oh, I got to learn more. Oh, I got to get a mentor. Oh, I got to get a CRM. And they get lost in the sauce because they're overwhelmed with all this stuff. But the main key ingredient is just taking action because they know more than what they think they know.
Yeah. Right. And I, you know, that's why, I mean, I do a little teaching now, and what I always tell folks is, and I think we've talked about this several times, is consistency.
Right.
If, you know, and I look at it even in an example of exercising.
Yeah.
You know,
going to the gym, boy.
Going to the gym. Like I go to the gym 2 times a week, then I go 1 time a week.
Right.
Then the next week I go 3 times. Then I go no time. But it's like building a muscle.
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at building a muscle, I mean, and especially when we're talking about building a financial muscle.
Right.
And anything as it relates to building a business, that's the one thing I think a lot of people miss is that there are things that are going to be a lot of mundane tasks that we do that don't seem to bring anything in for us as far as income. But if we continue those things and be consistent at them, then we will ultimately see the results. Does that make sense? It's like, you know, you lifting that dumbbell, you lift it 5 times, like, where my muscle? But 10 times, you know, 5 times, 10 times, then you're doing it 50 times, and you're ultimately going to start seeing something, you know. So that's why, you know, I talk about even, you know, one of the steps, one of the things we do in wholesaling is we send direct mail. A couple people think that they can send direct mail 1 time, and they're supposed to get 20 deals out of that. But even on YouTube, it tells you that there is a 1 to 3% return rate, you know, rate of return on a lot of the direct mail we send. So that's some of the things that I want to really get people knowledgeable about of those steps to take. Now, I said something about YouTube. Now, I don't want to take anything away from YouTube. I still watch stuff on YouTube. Right. You know, I mean, especially we're educators in what we do. So we have to keep our axes sharpened. So there might be something in something that somebody else may have said that we need to add to our tool belt.
That's true.
Does that make sense? That's true. You know, so what like as far as is we talked about some of the steps, some of the challenges that people may have, but what I want to know about is what you guys think about, you know, direct mail. We're talking about direct mail. What I want to try to get to is the first initial step, of course, taking action.
Right.
What is that action? Like, what is that action? The first step that you would have somebody take if
they have no money, or
if they have no money, that's good. No money. that is a very definite variable because most times people, I'm a real estate investor. You've never invested in anything, not even yourself. So somebody that has no money.
I mean, you know, I think that's a very good example. I mean, we've had, you know, the pleasure to coach, or, you know, we don't like to say coach, but, you know, partner with people that didn't necessarily have any money per se in the business, but were able to take action. And the way that they took that action was, hey, they used the resources that were available to them, the free resources that were available to them. My partner Will always talks about Craigslist because he's had so much success on Craigslist. But Craigslist, that's one free way. That a person can, all they got to do is, go on the internet and look up the ads, call the seller and see what's up. Now, there's a lot of fake sellers out there and whatnot, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's free and it's resources. And like you said, it's building up a muscle. I mean, for me, when it comes to working out, when it comes to working out, we take action, but at the same time, I liken it to the same thing. We take action, but we also have a coach, and that coach is just kind of watching us, watching for the weaknesses, watching for when we hesitate, watching for when we stop. Right. And it's the same thing for me in real estate investing. When you have that kind of partner that will kind of watch for what it is that you're doing, watching for your cadences, watching for when, you're not making quite enough calls, watching for when, you know what I'm saying, watching for when, you may have said this to a seller that may not have been, the exact right thing to a seller, but if you say it like this, then that's going to get you to that next step. And that for me is invaluable in this business. It also points to the fact that you don't necessarily have to have any money. Right. Like if you're calling Craigslist, how many? What was our partner that got their first deal off of Craigslist? Which one?
I wonder, was that
Lachette?
Yeah,
Lachette. Yeah, Lachette Holding got one of her first deals, and her partner.
He's telling us we need to speak up.
Okay, yeah. All right. Sorry about that, but yeah. Great cameraman, by the way.
I know, right?
Thank you for all you're doing. But Lachette Holding got her first deal off of Craigslist, and she took massive action, and and it took a little bit of coaching, but she was able to get that first deal done. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean
how that works.
I mean, as far as Craigslist is concerned, that's one of those things where you just have to be very, very consistent. Yeah. Because it's almost like finding a needle in a haystack because there's so many ads that come daily and every 5 to 10 minutes that uploads in Craigslist at a time. But majority of those leads are, deals that just may not work out. Right. Deals that just don't make sense, or maybe another wholesaler is trying to sell something overpriced or whatever the case may be. So if you got several hundred ads, there may be 1 to 3 of them may be a deal. Right. So, it's all about being consistent and being that person who's going to be on there, who's going to dedicate being on there all day and keep, weaving through, everything, all the ads and stuff to find that one. I like to always, I did a deal on Craigslist a while back. Oh, yeah. I think I made like $7 or $8 grand. And I learned from that deal because I was like, well, I have to find out what I'm looking for on Craigslist. Right. And what I was looking for is, I noticed that all the investors was posting their deals, but I'm looking for a particular homeowner. That's what we mainly look for anyway, whether we're doing direct mail, whether we're doing any type of online marketing or whatever we're doing. The whole goal is to be able to talk to a seller, not to really necessarily talk to an investor. And we do JV with other investors and partner with other investors. I mean, that's fine, but the main goal is to be able to talk to an individual who owns the property, who's looking to sell that property. So you do have individuals, homeowners, who do, take the online approach and they'll say, hey, let me post a couple ads out there and see what happens. Let me post some on Zillow. Let me post some on Craigslist. Let me post some on Backpage or whatever for sale by owner websites they have that's online. So you have to be that first person to see that they're posting the ad, and even if the numbers don't make sense, you need to be calling them. Right. Because if they're looking to sell, then at that time it's all about who gets at them first. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody for themselves pretty much at that time. So I just so happened to, and just get into an example of the deal I did on Craigslist. They had just posted the deal, and what I did was I paid attention to the ad. The ad basically told a story. The lady was saying she just lost her husband. She was going through some things where she was trying to relocate and she really needed to sell a house. So my antennas went up automatically. I'm knowing that this is a person who's in a situation where the lady just lost her husband. She needs to relocate. She needs to sell her property right now. So automatically, I know that's somebody I need to talk to as soon as possible. And I called them. The property was, of course, still available, and she was trying to meet me tomorrow. But I said, no, I need to meet you right now. How long will it take you to get to the house? I can meet you there. I'll be there in 15 minutes, even though I was 30 minutes away. I'll meet you there in 15 minutes. And they were trying to push it. They were trying to push me to meet them tomorrow. But guess what? That deal wouldn't have been there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because they were asking for, I think, $100,000 for the house, and I got them down to like 80 something. You know, so somebody else would have thought to do that, and they would have got the deal. So, I mean, there's deals on Craigslist. I just think you just need to be on all the free websites, whether it's Craigslist, whether it's Zillow, for sale by owner. You just need to be doing a lot of cold calling, because not only do you get free leads from those websites, but you also, as a new person, you get used to talking to people. When you get that you know, because I think talking to sellers is a fear of new investors. So it basically gives them the opportunity to be able to talk to people and be able to, you know, learn their script, or learn what to say, what not to say, what type of objections the sellers have, you know, how to build rapport early. So it kind of, you know, gets you in the groove of talking to people, and that's what you need to do in the beginning, I think.
And it also like when you were talking about the YouTube effect, I know that, you know, we learn a lot from YouTube, and it's a great place to start. But like you were saying, like if you actually getting on the phone with that seller, you almost have your own way of communicating with sellers. So it becomes a way that, you know, like you'll recognize, okay, this is the same kind of seller I talked to like 10 calls ago. You know what I'm saying? And you start to become familiar with the process. And next thing you know, you're able to vibe with those sellers. And if you're able to vibe with those sellers, then you're able to build a rapport with those sellers. And in building rapport with sellers, that's really the opening to be able to get to a place of being able to break some bread with the seller and making it a win-win situation. Another way that you can really do this, and you're talking about doing it for free, is driving for dollars. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody talks about how busy they are, but when you become desperate and it's something that you really, really want to do, and you're saying, hey, this is something I want to pursue, you're going to go out in your backyard, you're going to drive and drive and drive. I remember being on my job. I remember being on my job and, you know, just, you know, taking my lunch breaks and going down, you know, to a certain area of Atlanta. You know, I picked this area, certain area, and decided to drive for dollars. You know what I'm saying? And
on your lunch break.
On my lunch breaks.
That's taking action.
And you know, but I wanted it that bad. You know, I didn't want to be on my job any longer. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for people that have jobs, that's great. But for me, you know, I knew that there was something else that was available to me. And I would take my lunch breaks. And when I went on lunch breaks, I met a seller one time. He was in his yard, cutting his grass one day, and we struck up a conversation. And he was like, you know, I was like, you know, I was just driving through the neighborhood, and you know, it takes a bit of cojones to open your mouth, but sometimes you got to do it. But you know, say, hey, you know any properties for sale? And he had 2 deals. He had 2 deals. Cutting his grass, he had 2 deals. And, you know, was able to close one of those deals. And that's one of the things that catapulted me off of my job. But it was from driving for dollars. So to this day, I believe in driving for dollars. So
Still drive for dollars.
We still drive for dollars every day.
We're always out in the street.
Yeah,
we're
all
always
the
out
time.
and about, and it's prone to me to just say, okay, there go a vacant house. Let me write down the address.
Yeah.
It's just a habit to me.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah, I mean, I don't think that ever gets old.
Right.
You know?
And it's free.
And that's where, you know, we talk about that. That's how you build. We talk about building muscle. That's how you build your hustle.
That's
muscle.
how you build that muscle. That's right.
I mean, even the property that I'm working on now, the one that I'm rehabbing right now, I found that because I was in the neighborhood leaving for my other project that I was working on, and I ride past the house all the time, and the house was always vacant. And I took the
let me write down
the address, went online. I was able to, you know, find the owner, and you know, a couple of weeks later, I bought the house, and now I'm fixing it up for sale. So I mean, that was from driving for dollars. I mean, didn't nobody bring me that deal? I didn't do it. It didn't come from the Red Mill or nothing. It came from me looking at the house every day when I drive by.
How much did that cost?
That was free.
It's free. So
I
mean, those are ways. Those are ways that you can really get out there and hustle. That you can really get out there and, you know, just start off. And then if you don't know what to do from there, like once you meet the seller, and I'll just give you an example. Like the deal I did from meeting that seller from meeting that seller, I didn't quite know what to do in the next step. You know, I knew that we could get a deal, but I didn't quite know what to do with the next step. So in the next step, I ended up calling another investor that knew what they were doing. And we ended up doing a JV on it. And I didn't even know what a JV was at the time, but we ended up doing the JV, and I just remember being able to get paid. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great feeling to know, okay, this happened just because I, took my lunch break and opened my mouth. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the magic starts to happen. Is like he says, the action. That's where the magic starts to happen. And I think a lot of times, we just, we're stuck in like you say, we gotta learn more, but no, we got to do more.
I think a lot of times what I see people, and it actually ties right into a lot of stuff that we're talking about, is fear.
Yeah.
When somebody is driving for dollars, they figure, I don't know what to look for.
Right.
So I won't go and do anything.
Right.
Or I don't know what to say to a seller, so I won't say anything. But I think, especially some of the examples you guys gave were great examples of ways to build up. One of the things that I learned, we were in the business where they tell you to talk to your friends and family first.
Yeah. That works.
Right.
Work.
I think those are the true opportunities to build up to where those are your practice calls. Right?
I agree.
So I figure, what better way to build up your courage,
man? I think,
as opposed to picking up the phone and calling these people or driving by people.
As a matter of fact, I think that's a great way.
Yeah.
To get started. One thing you can do is your 100 people list.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got 100 names, 100 people that you know. You know what I'm saying? Write down all those people, call those people, let them know that you're in the business.
Get your memory jogger.
Exactly. Yeah, get a memory jogger. Let those people know that you're in the business.
Yeah.
And when you call those people, find out, hey, do you know of a house, that may be for sale? You or anybody that you know, and you never know. You never know. Right. But what it does is like you said, it gives you some practice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that practice, it doesn't make perfect, but it makes dollars.
It makes dollars. If it makes dollars, it makes sense.
It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that's a great way to get started.
Yeah.
In the business is you write down 100 names, people that you know. And then you write down the telephone numbers, the email. It's easier now. You ain't even got to have a telephone number now. All you got to do is look them up on Facebook. Right. Like right now you go to Facebook. Hey man, I'm in the business now. Like we see listen, look, it works. We see it all the time.
I tell my folks all the time. Use social media. Yeah. Tell people you're in the business. And that what is there a way? You're not picking up the phone calling all those people. Right. But I think we might have added a new tool in the tool belt of the training that we can is tell people, call people up and say, hey, I'm in the business.
I'm in the business. Yeah.
Do you know of anybody that's selling a house?
Man, I'm telling you. And also and this is where you do communicate up and you do learn up. But I think another way that you can do it is like if you know somebody that's just getting into it with you, then you guys can do the power hour. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can do the power hour. And
my students are doing the power hour.
Right. Oh, so y'all doing the power hour. Okay. Get together and just make calls, and when you make those calls, you're taking that action, and as you're taking that action, then it builds up a confidence with each other. Yeah. So I think you can definitely do that. And of course, once you get somebody that's ready to sell, you got an expert that's right there, that's ready to answer the question.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So you say that the education that we have for being in those businesses,
I'm telling you, it works.
That's applicable to what we do now.
It's very applicable.
So, and we're talking about network marketing. So for all y'all people that say, "Oh, it's a scam," look, you gotta get with one.
Real business
and learn
skills.
How to build a business.
Yeah, real business skills.
I said, I say this all the time. I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years, but I didn't learn how to really run a business till I got involved in network marketing.
Yeah.
We're talking about the building up the courage to call people, building up the courage to just have a conversation.
Yeah.
I thought I had all that before, but I didn't have the angle and the way to get to it. And then power hours. Man, that is huge to be able to get with some people, sit down, you're all on the same page, you know what you want to accomplish, and you encourage one another. Listen, pick up the phone again and make another call.
Right.
What's going to happen? Did the people that you called last time, did they kill you?
No. No, they just knew you were in the business.
Right.
You know what
So
I'm
that's somebody else.
Right.
Well, anybody told you not to call them today,
Hey.
their situation might be different 2 weeks from now.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You know, one thing that I found out about this business is, and any business, is that people get into what are called change windows.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the
We-
change
we're
window.
different.
Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the change window is where you know, hey, you know, I don't really need this right now. You know, everything is going well in my life. But then all of a sudden something happens. I mean, we had we had a death in our family last week. You know what I'm saying? And it triggered some change.
Yes.
You know, when people marry, you know, when people divorce, you know, when people have children, you know, all these different life processes create change windows, and they create needs and opportunities for money. And we just have to be change agents. We have to understand people when they're going through. That's why you can't quit. That's why you can't. That's why you can't stop calling people. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't stop, you know, sending letters and things of that nature. You know, I know, you know, in our business, we definitely understand with our partners that follow-up is key. You know what I'm saying?
I always tell people the money is in the list, but the fortune is in the follow-up.
Fortune is in the follow-up. That's it. The fortune is definitely in the follow-up. So you have to use these resources. And by the way, this stuff is free.
Absolutely.
Doing this stuff is free.
Yeah.
We're giving you guys ways. We're giving you guys ways that you can get into this business for free. You know, doesn't cost you any money. Didn't cost you any money by looking at Facebook or anything like that. But these ways will actually put dollars into your pocket.
That's right. That's right. You got to take action. You got to take massive action. You know, and that, I guess that kind of segues into the importance of, now we're telling people about free ways to get started.
Yeah.
And these things can actually lead to making money.
Right.
But there are some mechanics in there that might be missing from some of these things. Yeah, we can, you know, they can go out and make calls, they can go out and meet people. Then there's how to get the house under contract.
Oh yeah.
That might be something, that's that step that might be missing in that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm just leading up to the necessity of having somebody who can guide you through those steps, like a mentor or a coach or somebody like that, somebody that you would partner with. You know, I was talking to, I'm gonna give an example of a situation that I had. Actually, I was reading this on Facebook. Somebody said, they posted on Facebook that they know some people that want to get started in real estate and they need some help.
Right.
And they asked if somebody would coach them, would they would give them 50% of what they make. And well, I always thought that wasn't a bad deal. But a lot of the people said, and there was quite a few people that said, well, why would somebody who has knowledge, and you guys tell me what you think about this, why would somebody who has the knowledge and experience to do this give up 50% with somebody who doesn't have the knowledge and experience? They should be open to at least taking 10 or 15% or 20% or something along those lines. And I thought about that and I said,
Who should take 10 or 15%?
the person who doesn't have the experience.
Okay.
You know, that somebody would take them by the hand and walk them through step by step how to get a deal closed. And they share in the profit with them. They get their 15%, and the person with experience gets the other 85 until they can build up to having a level of knowledge where they can, you know, get to where the I guess mentor or coach doesn't tell them how to have to fill out a contract or how to communicate with the seller or how to do certain steps in the business and things that we do that we know that will get us to closing. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, does that sound like a fair assessment?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, of course, everything is always subjective to, you know, to different people and all that stuff. But I think the most valuable part about this is getting a deal to closing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only, you know, honestly, that's the only thing that's going to get you paid.
That's right.
You know, and you know, I remember, you know, like back in the early 2000s, you know, myself and my partners, you know, we were trying to get deals closed, but until we actually got people on our side, that were willing to help us out, you know, we didn't get paid. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and the bottom line is to bring money into your account.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when me and him do business with people, we don't necessarily think about percentages or anything like that. Not saying that that's not important, because it really is. But our very first thought process is, how can we make sure that we get this to something that's going to close?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think just to answer your question, I don't think there's a right or wrong to it.
Yeah.
I think it's all negotiable.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people, it's nothing wrong with somebody feeling like their value is
Right.
worth more than 50%.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with somebody on the flip side thinking that, hey, let's just call it even, we'll split it in half. So I mean, of course, the way we do business is what we discuss with who we work with.
Right.
But I just think it ain't no right or wrong. I've done to where it's been 80-20, 80 my way, and I've done it to where it's 50%. But I'm gonna say this though, it depends on, and this is just me, it depends on what that person brings to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What type of value do they bring to the deal?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm pretty much doing pretty much everything as far as getting the seller to sign the contract and finding a buyer, and I'm doing pretty much 70-80% of the work, then it's only right that maybe I get 70-80% of the profits.
It only works.
And that's just me, because I'm bringing, I feel like it's all about what you bring to the table.
Right.
What value do you bring? You know what I'm saying? If you bring in 10% or 20% of worth of value, then it's a lesson learned, and that's just my way of compensating myself because of what I brought to the table.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's just my thing.
A key that you just said was, he said, I bought this to, if I bring this amount to the table, then I should get compensated for this amount, which is true. And I think what it does is it encourages the other person to say, well, maybe I need to learn this skill, or maybe I need to get to this skill. And if I can get to this skill, then I can bring my level of compensation up, and that's just adding value. I mean, honestly, if you go back to the word, the word is, the person that adds the most value is the person that, that profits the most. So if we follow that, then, I would only say that that's right, and that's on, that's fair,
I listen to guys like Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar and these guys. And one of the things that I heard Jim Rohn says is, if you want to earn more, you have to first learn more, and you have to become more valuable.
Right.
And we all, and this is not, we're not devaluing human beings, people as human beings.
Right.
But I think what has to become realistic to a lot of people who want to get to the level of doing what we do, and there are people who are at a level that we want to get to.
Oh my God,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think what those people and us, I guess on some levels, on every level, if we want to earn more, we have to become more valuable.
Right.
And I think it's only right. And this is where, when I was reading this on Facebook, where it made sense to me, because sometimes we probably devalue what we do ourselves. We give a lot of free information.
Right.
I mean, let's be real.
Right.
And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I think people need to know, at least on some level, that we know what we're talking about, to even be able to make a decision if what we are, if we are that valuable.
Well, we're sitting here in the middle of the day.
All right, I know.
Let's just keep it real. You're right here in the middle of the day.
One thing I will say is, if you're working with somebody who making the percentages the big deal about the biggest issue, or making that a big thing, then you need to watch that person.
Exactly.
Because I don't think that
Wow.
It's
because
so
that's
much.
not even the first thought.
That's not the first thought.
It's
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm not bragging or nothing, but as much knowledge as I have and as much success I've had since I've been in it, if you're not willing to appreciate what I'm going to show you and what I'm going to bring to you, and I'm gonna basically help change your life.
Right.
If you're a newbie
Exactly.
and I'll take you up under my wing, and if only thing on your mind is worried about how much you're gonna make, then you're already cutting yourself short already.
Right.
So and it's not that I'm gonna take advantage of you or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, like Tim said earlier, let's talk about the deal. Let's talk about getting to the closing.
Right.
Yes.
If you're worried about the percentages in the
most important
beginning,
thing.
which
And you
is
never
really
mentioned closing
irrelevant,
before, right?
which is irrelevant in the
Right.
beginning. I just think that's somebody you just need to watch, because that shouldn't be nobody's concern. I mean, especially if somebody's pouring their heart and their time and their valuable resources into you to try to help you make some money.
Right.
Because we're already making money.
Absolutely.
So if we bring somebody on with us, it's because we believe in that person and we feel that that person is worth us putting time into to create something within all of us.
Right.
So that shouldn't be your concern, just to get to the point.
This is a lesson for me now.
To piggyback off of what he's saying, that is what what we like to call a one deal mentality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One deal, and the other.
I'm gonna have y'all back on next week.
They're not thinking about the end goal. The end goal is multiple deals. Volume. You know what I'm saying? Volume. That's what I'm saying. Not, you gonna make what off this deal? Oh, this deal, we're gonna do 10, 20, 30 more deals. Like, are you serious? Like, who cares about that deal? That's a $5,000, $10,000 deal. We got a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 deal around the corner from here. So you got to think about the end and goal and not think about just this one deal. Just this one deal. One deal suck, dude. Like, for real, that suck, man. Like,
you can do that one deal. You do, and come on, I mean, we've been there. In the past, you can do that one deal, and then you banking on everything in the world on that one deal. And what happens if it don't happen?
And you spend all that time trying to figure out what percentage you spend, and the deal didn't even close.
Right. Now that's a good point right there. Now think about this.
But that's not faith either.
Right.
That's not faith.
But think about this though.
Right.
Now we get to the table and it doesn't close.
Right.
And you've done 80% of the work.
Right.
And the other person has maybe contributed 5%.
Right.
The other 5%, might have just been by chance.
Right.
So in a situation like that, when you've put everything into it, I mean, this is where this becomes even more valuable. And that person hasn't risked anything.
Right.
They haven't contributed much.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the deal doesn't close and you've taken your time, you've given 80% of your time, that's where I think the other side of that needs to be looked at. You know what I mean? That's why I think it becomes okay for, and I used to look at people like, why they charge so much for training?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand that the time that they put in to learn what they learn is years and years and years of experience.
And that's not time that you spend.
You just spend that time learning what they know.
Right.
So at some point you got to understand that.
And they could have lost.
They could have.
They could have. And
you don't know the whole story of what they've been through to get to where they are, and you've never been through anything that they've been through. And that that actually, this is good stuff for me. Right? So I mean. But I think we're at a point that I want to see if we can get into taking some people's questions. But this is some real good stuff.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what we got here. So we're live, folks. I'm looking at every.
Look at all of them. It's like
we live on my phone. We live on Temple. Everybody live.
What's up, y'all?
So I mean, y'all, if y'all live looking at my screen right now, if you got a question, we talking about real estate. Right now, what I'm saying, I've shot a couple of videos throughout the week, just talking about life. Right today, we're talking about real estate with my big brother, Glen Glasper. So if you got a real estate related question or just a question about business or whatever, chime in, shoot us a question. We'd love to answer it while we're on this live for a few more minutes. Shoot us a question.
We want to take time to kind of talk about the what we've got coming up this weekend.
Absolutely. We would be remiss if we didn't go into that.
If you got a question, shoot us our way. We answer questions now.
Let us know if they got any questions coming up. And your head is in that video. But what I want to make sure we talk about is the Generational Wealth Summit. This is something that is near and dear to my heart. Mm-hmm. We have the honor to be on the panel and serve alongside one of our other big little brothers, Mr. Keto Johnson, Keto J. Johnson. So shout out to Keto.
Big ups, Apostle.
And
what up, Keto? I think somebody asked a question on mine.
Oh, okay.
I think Tim's too.
So the Generational Wealth Summit is happening this Saturday. This Saturday, June 3rd. Yeah. And man, I've been anticipating this thing for a while, man.
We're excited.
We're
excited because of the mandate that's been put on Keto's life.
Yes.
And with that mandate has come this. I mean, we've all had an opportunity to make money with our brother.
Mm-hmm.
Will, I think you were on last month. when y'all were talking about, the different processes in real estate, and we're just excited because, we have an opportunity to serve, to serve our, serve our fellow man, with this. So we're excited. We're excited about it. This Saturday, we're going to be talking about the filling the generational gap to wealth.
Yes.
Instead of erasing the generational gap to wealth, filling that generational gap to wealth. And, we're just excited to be a part of this thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait, man.
Man,
I can't wait.
I'm telling you, I was up last night thinking about how because one of the things I'm talking about, of course, is real estate investing.
Yeah.
And a couple of people I get a chance to. Well, Angela Davenport is one of the people I'm going to be speaking with, and Frank Morales, I believe he's going to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And I just think that a lot of times when and I'm going to use some of what Keto taught me.
Yeah.
We're talking about
he knows a lot.
Yeah. We're talking about generational wealth. I think a lot of times what some of us miss is the importance of leaving a legacy.
Yes.
The importance of leaving not just money.
Right.
Money is definitely a part of wealth.
Right.
But
it's only a
portion of it, right? And a lot of what we miss is the knowledge and the name that we leave for our family.
Right.
And those types of things can be everlasting.
Right.
And when we talk about generational wealth, I think that's a portion of what we miss, the importance of gaining the knowledge, gaining the finances, first of all, and learning how to get to the level of being able to know that without a shadow of a doubt, if something happens to me and I'm gone, my legacy lives on.
Exactly.
Because, I have children or I have family, I have little cousins or things like that I want to make sure that they're supported in something that I've been able to leave for them. And when you have an opportunity to be a part of something like, this Generational Wealth Summit, I know this is just the first one.
Yeah.
And I know that, I'm going to put this out there that this is something that we're going to be doing nationwide.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think we can go into different countries with this type of information that's going to be shared.
Absolutely.
There. So definitely take advantage of that, guys. I think the price, I think he still has it at $97.
It's $97 bucks.
That's amazing for.
Yeah.
I mean,
for all the people that's going to be in there. That's not even enough for all the speakers that you have and all the knowledge that's going to be spread.
And the people that have made millions of dollars. And let's just keep it real.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
We made millions of dollars in this business.
Yes.
And for you to be able to get that knowledge, then that's that's a blessing. We got a question?
All right. Well, let me real quick. Just go to the generationalwealthsummit.com. The Generational Wealth Summit, where you can go ahead and sign up and register so that you can be at the Generational Wealth Summit this coming Saturday, June 3rd, and it starts at 9 a.m. So we got a question. Let's go ahead.
Lamont, Sean, what's going on, guys? Lamont.
We're reading the questions that are being asked.
We are in Atlanta. The Generational Wealth Summit is going to be in Atlanta, and you can go to generationalwealthsummit.com.
Yeah, the generationalwealthsummit.com,
and they'll fill you in on all the information. It's this Saturday, so come on out. What up, Ramon?
What's up, Ramon?
John, what's up?
The grind guy.
Calvin, Tavaro, Delano, what's up, y'all? All right, so do we all use a JV contract? You want to read it?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, do you all use a JV contract? If so, how was it structured? Am I just starting? Wait, let me see. Is that a question? Do you all use a JV contract? If so, how was it structured? I'm just now starting to JV with other wholesalers here in St. Louis. So how would you structure your JV contract?
That's a great question. There are, and this is from the REI Wholesalers R Us crowd. So big ups to REI Wholesalers R Us.
Big ups.
Yeah, I mean there is a contract that we use for joint ventures specifically, and you want to go into how they're structured.
So we're talking about the JV contracts that we use when we're partnering with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you work, I mean, most of the people we work with, I mean, we don't really have nothing in writing because, you know,
there's a trust.
There's a trust there. But if you're working with somebody who you never worked before, I mean, you can pretty much write up a standard agreement, basically, you know, whatever y'all agreed upon, whatever that is. Or if you guys are both linked into the deal, just assign it through each other. You know, that assignment of contract will keep, you know, you guys both tied to the deal. So if, you know, say for instance, I got the deal and you got the buyer, then pretty much if it's your buyer and I have the deal, I'll be assigning my rights over to you, and then you'll be basically assigning your rights back over to the buyer if you're assigning the contract, and we're basically both getting assignment fees, and then the buyer, of course, brings the money to the table. So we can tie ourselves through an assignment fee, or if I'm dealing directly with the buyer and you're just making the making something on the side, which we're doing a deal like that right now. Yeah, we're doing a deal like right now where the wholesaler pretty much just she filled out an agreement basically with her and the buyer, a marketing agreement, and it says, hey, you know, I'm entitled to this amount for the marketing fee for XYZ 123 Main Street, and you know, this is what we agree on. Both of them sign off on it, and we send it to the attorney along with the contract. So the attorney sees that there's a separate agreement that buyer's, you know, entitled to paying that wholesaler their fee. So I mean, you can type up something standard, or you can just tie you guys stuff together within an assignment agreement.
I think one thing with that is you basically want to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
You know, because attorneys, I mean, attorneys do recognize simple agreements. It doesn't have to be anything that's all, you know, all this and that. And there are different contracts on the internet that you can find, JV contracts on the internet. But I think that the best one that you're talking about is that marketing agreement.
Yeah, it's just called a marketing agreement.
I love that.
It's just a marketing agreement. It basically says
that's what we're using now.
I mean, it's just a marketing agreement. It's standard. It's self-explanatory. This person agrees to pay this person a marketing fee of this amount for this property at such and such signatures, and that's it.
Now we do have to disclaim that we are not attorneys.
No,
I am not an attorney. So do not hold me to nothing.
So you can't be held responsible.
Look, this is based off, you know, experience.
Alleged.
So don't come back saying, hey, Will, I thought you said I did a deal and they took my money and I didn't get paid.
Right.
You know, so
Hey, one thing I will say is like when you deciding to partner up with somebody, you know, do your research on that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, like if you're going to pick a mentor or you're going to pick a senior partner, I say this: do your research. Make sure that person has a reputation in the community.
Yes.
Because 9 times out of 9 or 10 times out of 10, that person has a reputation in the community, and you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell whether you can work with a person or not.
Absolutely.
I think this business is really based upon trust. And you trust that you're working with that the right thing will happen. And I think money flows from trust. It's an amazing thing. Now sometimes, you know, you got to watch this and watch that, but money flows from trust. And you know that's our philosophy.
Did I have any questions over there? All right. Let's see here.
Questions for Tim.
Okay. That's it.
What's going on?
Oh, okay.
About to shout out all the people that I've seen come on. Shout out to all my friends and, you know, people who jumped on the line. Chris got a question, and then I think Maisha got a question. Chris, what's up, Chris? I have a question for Tim. Does your team cold calling, and how many dials are they doing before they get appointments?
You know, well, this is for me and Will actually. Our partners do cold calling from lists per se, and there are several lists that are used. We use probate list. We use a probate list, which is very popular these days. And quite honestly, those lists are varying. We don't know. You know, sometimes the list has 30 people on it. Sometimes the list has 100 people on it. But those lists vary. We use lists from different counties.
Eviction lists.
Eviction lists. And we call those constantly. Our partners call them.
We're always looking for a list that has a phone number.
Right.
So if
right.
there's a phone number, then we're
Craft the
calling.
least resistance.
So you got probates, of course, that are free. Go to the courthouse. Eviction list free. Go to the courthouse.
You can buy them. You can buy them.
And you
if
can
you
buy
want.
those lists too. But also, like we always say, Craigslist, Zillow, all those. I mean, any for sale by owner, anything that has a number on it. Far as I think he asked you how many
dials
are they doing before they get appointments. I mean, I think you need to be making at least 20 or 30 calls or more a day. That's just, to get some results. It's a numbers game. So
do that much work to make some money.
Yeah.
you got to make that many calls, because you got to understand, if you make 30 to 40 calls, you got to understand a lot of those people you're gonna get voicemails or they may not answer.
Yeah.
So you got to call a lot of people.
Those don't count though. If
What's that?
they don't answer, you
What?
gotta call 30 more.
Call them back. Yeah.
You gotta still. I mean, that's what I say. You gotta, if you're gonna do that, you gotta set a quota for the day.
What's Chris asking about virtual?
He said, I do virtual wholesale deals, got 2 teams in 2
Chris
states.
is doing it.
Looking to ramp up and do 3 more. Man, come on down here to the A, man. If you
I
ain't
know
already
that's
here,
right.
man, you know, let's do some business.
We know Chris.
Maisha got a question. Is real estate license
my
needed
God,
to get
that's a great
started?
question.
I asked because most sellers want to see that you are legit, right? Not necessarily, Maisha. Hey, Maisha, how you doing?
Yeah, they usually don't.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, to be honest with you, a real estate license, to a certain extent, it does hold value, because that's saying that you are a licensed agent or a licensed broker. Mm-hmm. So it does have credibility. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't. But I think what also gives credibility is a person who has knowledge, a person who is knowledgeable about what they're doing. I'm an investor, so I'm basically coming. I mean, if you think about a real estate agent has to use investors in order to get a buyer to close the deal, and I'm the buyer. So if you're presenting yourself as the buyer, you're the direct person, and it's not cutting up nothing. It's not cutting out agents or anything like that, because I work with tons of agents. But you have to present yourself to them as the expert, as the investor who's looking to buy deals. And not only you're the expert, but you have partners that are looking to buy multiple deals a month, and you'll make that homeowner feel like you're the person. You're the connection, pretty much. You're the buyer, or you have the buyers. So no, you don't have to have a real estate license. Neither one of us in this room have a real estate license.
But it's cool to have one.
But it's a good tool to have, because you can use the multiple listing service, the MLS.
Okay.
You can use the multiple listing service, and you can also be able to pull comps and list properties and stuff like that. But no, you do not have to have a license. None of us that are talking right now, none of us have a license.
No,
We've done hundreds of deals.
Glenn, you got something to say about that?
Well, I don't have a license. I know somebody that has a license. My wife is licensed.
Oh yeah, that's right. now, where does your wife work?
I'm close enough.
Where she work?
She works with Keto Johnson.
All right.
No, but I get that question all the time. Somebody asks me about getting a license, and I would say it depends. Mm-hmm. Most people think that they have to have a license to do real estate investing. No, you don't have to have a license to do investing.
Right.
If you're looking to make money, but dealing with sellers and buyers on another level, then go and get your license. But I think having a license as an investor, if you're strictly an investor, is limiting.
Right.
Because most often, when you have to...
But you got somebody in your household.
Yeah, that's not me though. That's not me. When I'm talking to a seller, they ask, "Are you a real estate agent?" No, I'm not.
But if you're an agent, you have to disclose. If you're talking to a seller, you have to disclose that you are a licensed agent.
Right.
And it's not illegal for an investor to buy a property. So that's the reason why you don't have to be an agent. Keep that in mind. It's not illegal.
That's right.
Anybody can buy a house.
Right.
Anybody can buy a house, pretty much. So it's not illegal for any individual entity or individual anyway to buy a property.
That's right.
So that's the reason why we don't have to have a real estate license, because we're not acting as brokers. We're not listing properties for sale on a multiple listing service.
Right.
We're acting as investors who are just looking to buy either rental properties or rehab projects, or even just flips. So it's nothing illegal about that, and that's why we don't have to have a license to do what we do.
Now,
I think one of the things I was wanting to add is I think a lot of times people hear license.
Yes, sir.
And they think license is that gives you the license to do business as an agent or as a real estate investor. And I think that's what the misconception is. Like, you know, people feel like you have to have, like people should say they want to get a business license to do real estate investing. I'm like, you know, you don't know, like you're not, I mean, we're doing what we're doing as a service because we're helping people in their, you know, in their home situation.
Right.
But we're not a service-oriented type of business. Does that make sense?
It's completely up to you. I mean, it's
up to you because I mean, even with
this
this office space, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a business license for this office space. I don't have to have a business license to actually do real estate, but since I have this office suite, I got a business license for this office suite because this is a business, this is a location. Absolutely. So I did it just for that reason. But you know, don't think that that's what you have to do. If that's just to answer your question.
And I guess to the other point of for me, if you want to become a real estate agent, don't feel like you can't become a real estate agent. I know a lot of real estate agents in this business that are having a lot of success and are making a lot of money on this side of real estate investing, not just the traditional side, but this side of investing. So if it's something that you want to do and that's how you feel comfortable in getting deals, I say go for it.
Go for it.
I say go for it.
It's not a right or wrong.
It's not a right or
I'm
wrong.
not against not being an agent, you know, so it's just a preference.
Right.
But know that's what you want, and you do the research and find out if that's, you know, that's going to fit your model and what you're trying to do.
Right.
So
and I would add, if you are looking to become an agent and you are focused, investor focused, definitely want to get with Buy and Sell Inc.
Yes.
Because Buy and Sell Inc. is an investor with Guido Johnson.
Exactly.
Is an investor focused real estate brokerage.
Not just investor friendly, but investor focused.
That's it.
So he's going to basically have your best interest in hand. You know, he's going to make sure you don't make those investor mistakes as an agent, because a lot of brokers, they don't approve of that. So he's gonna make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's and make sure that everything is, you know, going the way it need to go.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to Keto again.
Yes, indeed. And shout out to our we gotta give a big ups to our attorney, Mr. Josh Rand.
Oh, yeah.
What up, Josh?
He's investor focused as well.
Oh, yeah.
Investor focused, Josh.
What up, Josh Rand?
Yes, indeed.
Great attorney. Go see him.
So we're actually nearing the end of our time, and I guess what we forgot to mention in the beginning. Yeah, I know, right? I know. I was thinking the same thing.
You done got me hyped up. We having fun here. I can go a whole nother hour. But I know we got to go though. I know we got to go.
We got to hit the streets.
We definitely got to hit the streets. But listen, share this with your friends on Facebook. Share this with your people on Instagram. I think we're getting on Instagram over here.
IG.
So definitely share this with your people, because I believe this information is definitely something that people can use to get. I mean, we get a lot of good information.
I didn't mean to diss IG.
I know.
We gotta look at that. IG, you get love.
Yeah, right,
I love IG.
You got us over here.
Yeah, you got us. IG, we love you.
So, I mean, I think it's important, you know, that people know some of the basic things they can do to get started in this business. And that's a lot of times what we give. We give a lot of basic knowledge, and that's what people need. And I think it helps, you know, I say on my side as well, it helps me to help other people, because what we're building is collaborations, and a lot of people come into business thinking about competition. And I believe if those of us that have the knowledge and experience can educate those people that are coming in, they don't look at us as competition, and we can work together. Right. Especially in those instances where there are a lot of people that are not doing it right.
Right.
You know, which leads me to plug Shark Tank, that's happening this June 10th. Shark Tank style real estate investing, June 10th. Come check it out at Coconut Grill, 4181 Steve Reynolds Boulevard.
Heard you guys had a good time last
time.
It was awesome.
We're definitely doing it again. But no, I say that about that because in that situation, you know, having people sit on a panel and people present deals the way that we did, I think that was very educational. It was. You know, well, people can actually learn that sometimes what they believe is a deal is not necessarily a deal.
From the shark's mouth.
Right from the shark's mouth.
The shark is rejecting the bait.
It was good because I didn't really know the angle of how it was gonna go, but I definitely liked the part where each shark was able to break down each deal,
absolutely,
and tell them why it would work and why it wouldn't work, and it kind of made them think like that. I didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
I mean, I learned something.
Me too.
You know?
Me too.
So I think that's why we decided that we were going to do it again, because there's some other folks that, you know, had asked about it. So we're definitely going to be doing the Shark Tank style. I mean, I got to say Shark Tank style so that, there's no copyright infringement.
Right. Right.
Dollar out of a dollar.
Right. So,
Allegedly.
And let's talk about Wholesalers Are Us.
Yeah.
What's Wholesalers Are Us happening again?
We've got REI Wholesalers Are Us. Big ups to everybody that's on watching.
REI Wholesalers Are Us.
We've got REI Wholesalers Are Us coming back next month, which is tomorrow. We'll be at the end of the month, end of next month. Me and Will been doing some things that we enjoy doing. We've been traveling and doing this and doing that, and just really getting out and enjoying life. But
Part of what we do. It's necessary.
That's part of what we do. But we're gonna get back out next month, and we're ready to help educate people for free. Educate our partners, partner up. Everybody make money. And get ready for this Christmas, because y'all know Christmas is coming up here soon. So
I think we're in the middle of the year, man. What happened to our 100 houses run we were on?
Well, it's time to get it started
again.
I'm gonna put it out there now. Hashtag 100 houses.
100
Hashtag 1 house by the end of the year. So
By the end of the year.
everybody who's affiliated with us, all our partners, Wholesalers Are Us,
100 houses by the end of the year.
real estate life, real real estate life. Everybody who's a part of us. We all got to do. We're gonna do 100 deals by the end of the year.
What was Frank talking about? What's Frank talking about? Frank Iglesias.
I don't know what.
Frank, what was Frank talking about?
I think he said something about 60 deals. I don't know what it was. I forgot what it was.
Oh yeah, he needs to buy. They want him to buy
Yeah.
40 or 50 or something like
40,
that.
50
Yeah.
deals. Big
So
up,
so we'll get to the 100 because we're gonna sell them to Frank. So yeah, I think that's good, man. That was real good. I think it was last year, year before.
Yeah.
We did that.
We almost accomplished our goal. Of course, our goal was to, the number was cool, but the goal was to create action, and we got so close to that goal to where, everybody made money.
Hey, listen,
everybody
they
made money
say
toward the end of the
shoot
year.
for the stars, and if you land on the moon, you got farther than where you were going to go in the first place.
Absolutely.
So I'm putting the challenge out there. So what we have to do is we have to keep track of who's closing deals.
Oh my God.
Not to keep tabs on people or anything
Right.
like that, but we want to make sure we set a goal as a collective. You know what I mean? Because it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be done.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and see if I can at least get.
So with that being said, I mean, I know we got a lot of people on our Wholesalers Are Us community page. Give us a shout out. I know a lot of you guys like posting y'all deals. I mean, we're not asking you to post no checks or nothing like that, but just if you want to, you can. But if you're at a closing, take a picture. Tag Wholesalers Are Us, tag the real life real estate investing, tag us in it, and let us see, what you're doing, man, so we can kind of, be, thankful that you got to the closing table and enjoy it with you, and just
we're
give
about
us a shout out.
celebrating people and congratulating people.
Exactly.
That's right.
Every time I see somebody
He
close
talked
a deal,
about that on his
about
video.
the other day.
Yeah.
We're about
What's
giving folks shout outs.
You talking about Johnson Emby?
right.
Just congratulate people.
Yeah, shout out to the video I just did. I mean, like we just talking about now. Be happy for people.
That's right.
Don't be jealous or envious of people. I just shot a video on that. It's about being happy for people. That's the only way you can excel in life, is to be appreciative of what you have and be thankful for where you are, and just understand that there's a bigger side that's ahead of you if you just stay patient and enjoy the ride where you're on, enjoy your journey, and appreciate others as they're progressing in life. So that's one of the things I talked about. But Wholesalers Are Us, shout out to Wholesalers Are Us at the end of the month. Tim and I, we are going to give you guys a banger. We're going to give you a free,
no doubt,
no holds barred meeting, pouring our hearts and guts out, giving you all the content, all the information that we have, and hopefully we can, build some new relationships as well. So that's what we are.
All right. Well, one thing I want to add to what you were just saying. One of my other business mentors, Mr. Thomas Felder. Let me give him a shout out, Mr. Thomas Felder. He said, in order to be great, you have to be grateful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I always remember that. Shout out to Mr. Thomas Felder.
That's real stuff.
In order to be great, you have to be grateful.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely real.
Absolutely.
How do they get in contact with you guys if they want to reach out to you?
I mean, they're
Wholesalers Are Us.
Well, Wholesalers Are Us. Just reach out to us on Wholesalers Are Us. If you're watching, you already connected to us. But follow us on meetup.com, REI Wholesalers Are Us. if you're not on our Facebook fan page, our group page, people post deals on there every day. People post questions on there every day.
Some good deals.
So yeah, there's some good deals on there lately. I mean, people posting deals from St. Louis all the way to California to New York. I mean, everywhere. So I appreciate the love and everybody who's joined the page and who actually are putting content on there, because that's the what we wanted to keep going. So if you haven't joined the page yet, join the page. REI Wholesalers of Us. Post your deal, post your question, and we'll be one of us will be able to get to it. Or if you got a deal, I'm sure somebody's gonna shark it up and snatch it up real quick. There's a lot of people close a lot of deals on our page.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And we still waiting on our cut.
Gotta get the cut.
Right, but all in fun though. Y'all keep posting, keep having fun, keep posting on there, and we appreciate y'all for participating.
And connect with us at on Real Life Real Estate Investing on Facebook, Real Life Real Estate Investing on Instagram, Real Life Real Estate on Twitter, and just stay connected. And we're looking to be able to build and grow and help people do the same thing. So we're still on that 100 houses challenges. We're getting started today.
100 houses by the end of the year.
100 houses by the end of the year.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you to my guests, Mr. Tim Harvey and Mr. Will Galloway.
Thank you, sir.
And look forward to doing some major things in the future. Stay tuned. We'll be coming up next week. We'll be announcing who our guest is by the end of this week. And don't forget, register for the Generational Wealth Summit. It's only $97. It's going to be here in Roswell, Georgia. Definitely look forward to seeing you guys there. And don't forget Shark Tank. Shark Tank style real estate investing is happening June 10th in Norcross, Georgia. To get more information about that, text Real Life Real Estate to 55469. That's Real Life Real Estate to 55469. And stay tuned. And those of you guys are on REI Wholesalers of Us. REI Wholesalers of Us is coming up the end of June. And they're going to have a banger with some great information. I've been there at almost every meeting, and I dare not miss one. So if you want to learn how to do real estate, if you want to partner, you want to grow, you want to be on this 100 houses run with us, definitely connect with us. And we'll be looking forward to doing business with you soon.
Peace.